Hello, everyone. Welcome to a week of garden reading adventures. My garden outside has been neglected or left alone for many, many months, and we're well into spring. Oh no, everything's growing out of control. So this week, I have resolved to tidy up the garden a little bit and reconnect with all my little garden friends. Before we start, I want to do a word puzzle with you. Let's see if we can guess this word before I have all the letters in. Oh, there's a little dog. It could be a dog or it could be a puppy. I'm guessing it's a D for dog. An H for house. An S for sun. Do you think you know this word yet? Starts with a sh, ends with a d. That's a lock. L for lock. O for octopus. U for umbrella. This word says should. This L is silent. It doesn't make any sound. Otherwise, it would say should, but we say should. Well, I know I should have started working on my garden earlier this year, but we'll get lots of good things done out there. In the meantime, I have a wonderful book to share with you. This book is another one I've had since I was a little girl, and it's called Nature Wonderland. Look at all the things on the cover of this book. This shows something happening to a butterfly, starting out as an egg, becoming a caterpillar, a chrysalis, a butterfly, and then the butterfly puts the eggs on the leaf. That's called a life cycle. And down here, we've got a frog, where it comes from an egg and turns into a little tadpole, grows legs, grows front legs, and then finally it loses its tail and becomes a frog. There's a life cycle for a bird coming from an egg. And then here's a life cycle for a peach. One of these things is a plant. I bet you know which one is the plant. Let's have a look inside this really interesting book. This splash page has a lot of things on it too. This week, we're really interested in the plants. There are lots of different plants in this picture. Plants that grow in the dirt that are small, and plants that grow in the dirt that are very, very large. Nature Wonderland by Bertha Morris Parker, formerly of the Laboratory Schools, University of Chicago, Research Associate, Chicago Natural History Museum. Pictures by Marjorie Hartwell and Rachel Taft Dixon. I'm not going to show you all of the pages, just the ones that have plants on them. This is a picture of a hollyhock plant. I actually have one of these out front, but it's not growing right now. This long part in the middle is the stem. These are the leaves. These colorful parts are the flowers. Where are the roots? Do you know where the roots are? That's right. They're under the soil, inside the dirt underground. This picture doesn't show the roots for this plant, but we know they're down in the ground. What kind of plant is this? It's very, very tall. And on the top has a giant yellow flower. That is called a sunflower. All of the vegetables we eat come from plants. Some vegetables are leaves, like this spinach, or this lettuce, or this cabbage. Have you ever eaten a sweet potato? That vegetable is a root. There are other vegetables that are roots, like this crunchy, spicy radish, or this beet and carrot that are resting near the cabbage, or this turnip. Which vegetable is your favorite? Some of our vegetables are seeds. Some are the parts of a plant that have seeds inside. Find the vegetables that are seeds. Find the vegetables that have seeds inside. Can you see them? All fruits come from plants. Here are some fruits. Can you name them all? I bet you know what that is. Right? Pineapple. That one. A pear. Blueberry. Strawberry. Blackberries, like I have growing outside. I'll show them to you. Cherries. Plums. An orange. Apple, banana, watermelon, a peach, some grapes, and I think this is a grapefruit. Which one is your favorite? Trees are plants. Do any of these trees grow near your house? Elm? Apple. I have an apple tree in the neighbor's yard. Maple. Palm, where we get coconut. Oak trees, where we get acorns. Pine trees with pine needles. There are a lot of pine trees outside. Here are 8 trees in the winter. Which ones would make good Christmas trees? Which ones look like Christmas trees? You noticed some of them don't have their needles? We call them deciduous when they lose their leaves in the cold like that. Here are some rows of tree leaves. In each row, one leaf is different. The top row, this one's different. That's a different leaf is a cottonwood. In this row, the different leaf is a willow. And in this row, the different leaf is a buckeye. I think these might be oak. And I think these might be maple. I'm not sure about the other ones. Bushes are also plants. Do any of these bushes grow near your house? We see pussy willow, snowberry, rose. I have one of these out front. Snowball, bridal wreath, lilac, elderberry, and red haw. There were a lot of these growing around where I grew up. Vines are also plants. 3 of these vines have pretty flowers. Find them. 2 of them have fruit that is good to eat. Find them. Do you know the other one? Here we have a grapevine. Which type is that? Flowers or fruit? And here are the rest. Trumpet vine, climbing rose, honeysuckle, ivy, and watermelon. Do you see the one that does not have flowers or fruit? Have you seen it on your house or around your house? Garden flowers are plants too. Look at all the different flowers. Tiger lily, daisy, petunia, the pansy and the tulip, chrysanthemum and 4 o'clock, marigold and crocus, nasturtium and poppy. I've seen a lot of nasturtium. This part at the back, inside of it is a sweet sugar syrup. Now there are flowers people plant, and then there's wildflowers. These wildflowers are called violets, but this flower is a pansy. Here we have some wild roses, and I'm not sure what that is. And down here we have some buttercups next to a marigold. I have buttercups in my garden. When I take you out there, be on the look for them. These plants will grow in pots indoors. Do you have any of them in your house? Which one do you like best? I've got some daffodils that grow in my yard, but I think they've already come and gone. Tulips, foliage plant, sometimes called a coleus. I had one of these. Begonia, African violet, and geranium. My mom had geraniums in her yard. My grandmother had African violets growing on her kitchen table. Now that we've seen a lot of different kinds of plants, let's go out in the yard and see if we can find any of them growing out there. Welcome to my backyard. There's a lot to see out here. I have not been gardening for a long time, so let's take a look and see what we have in the yard. Oh, there's a flower. That's a buttercup. We'll probably see a lot of them in the yard. Here's a whole bunch more. Out here in the sun, I've got these purple flowers, and these purple flowers have a very sweet smell. One thing I know is they attract a lot of bees and butterflies. These thorny flowers, these are blackberries, and in a few months they're going to have blackberries on them. Blackberries are a weed that grows all over the place, and since I have not clipped them back, they are enormous. But at least that means lots of blackberries. This weed is called forget-me-not. Little purple flowers. Wonder if you know what this is called. You ever do that with dandelions? Of course, now those seeds are going to go everywhere and grow dandelions everywhere. And the nice thing about dandelions, you can actually use the whole flower for food and tea and other things, and they are really good for the bees. Here we have a bunch more buttercups. And my goodness, what a lot of weeds. Look at them all. Over here in my herb garden, you can see I've got a lot of work to do. This is rosemary. Oh, here's some dandelion greens. You can actually eat these. They're very bitter if you eat them raw. This plant is mint. This is mint. This right here, this is a garlic plant, but it's not a very healthy garlic plant. Garlic plants don't like a lot of water in the soil, and this one has way too much. And here is the oregano. I think this might be thyme, this flowering plant. This is one of my favorite things, is the rhododendrons out front. So pretty. When these are blooming, I definitely know it's spring. They come in other colors too. Lots and lots of other colors. Oh. One of the roses is blooming without any help. That's encouraging. And these fuzzy plants here are called lamb's ear. One of these leaves, I don't know if you can see, I'll hold it up. They are very soft and fuzzy. You hear another plane. I have planes going over all the time because we live very close to an airport. Very fuzzy. When these two plants got planted, they were little tiny, tiny sprouts that I found struggling to live in the crack of a sidewalk, and I planted them here in my garden, and they got very big. Do you guys see these? You know what that is? Those are my very special friends. I'm so glad to see them out today. Look, you guys. Look at how big. Look at how big they are. That. Oh, aren't they dear? You hear that? Hear all those birds? As you can see, I have a lot to do in my yard. I better get some more inspiration. This book, Seasons, has a lot of beautiful photographs of what's going on in the different parts of the year. Right now it's spring going into summer, so we'll see what's going on in spring. Seasons. Change in the natural world. See, learn, grow. Dragonfly. You see this picture of a seed growing? You see what happens to the different parts of the plant, the stem, the roots, the leaves, as it grows? That's how it grows from seed to plant. Sometimes when you go out in the morning or right after it's rained, you might see some little droplets on the plants. We call this dew, D-E-W. This book has some poetry too. I'm just showing you bits and pieces of it. Asparagus points are called spears, and when the corn is grown, it will have ears. The first plants of the season are the pioneers. The greenest green, spring's souvenirs. This right here is wheat. It's not ready to harvest yet. But these seeds that grow in here are what we remove and then grind up to make flour so we can make bread and cakes. Have you seen any cherry blossoms like this growing on trees outside? Maybe a few months earlier. This flower is called a hyacinth. With these photographs, we can really see a seed grow into a seedling getting much bigger, and finally into a bean plant. And then it grows us tasty beans. Plants come in all kinds of beautiful colors. Look at these yellow happy sunflowers. Or this beautiful ear of corn. Here's a good picture of a bee gathering pollen from the flowers. Bees are very important. It made me so happy to see them today. What do you have growing out where you live? I'll see you soon for more garden adventures.